What's up, guys? Welcome back to Hard Movie Rewind. I'm Dustin. Gonna do a review for a film called Jimmy and Stiggs today. I don't know how many people are aware of this. It's from an Eli Roth production company. I actually learned about it just back in May. Apparently, it had a debut last October 2024. But I was at a HorrorCon. Eli did a panel, heard about it, and it had some batshit crazy trailers that have been out. So it come out yesterday on digital streaming. Bought it for $14.99. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. It's a wild one, but I feel like first we'll start with it did the Grindhouse thing, Planet Terror, and what was the other one with Kurt Russell? Anyways, it had faux trailers, right? And those films, I think two of them, Thanksgiving and Machete, became actual movies. I don't think that's going to be the case with the two trailers in this one, but they will probably, I'm going to predict, again, I don't watch anybody else's shit, but I think they'll probably be the most talked about thing about this movie. And so the first one is called The Piano Killer, and it has a real giallo vibe to it, but it's funny as hell intentionally, and it does that thing again like giallo, where they tell you the title of the movie 2 or 3 times during the trailer, and it's pretty damn silly. There's one ridiculous scene. Again, I'm not going to warn you of spoilers because this is a review video. But there's 2 detectives in an alley, and it looks a lot like the scene from Boondock Saints when big freaking guy. Yeah, so they're in there and they're telling another a cop or somebody keep your eyes open for anyone suspicious. Meanwhile, in the background, there's literally a fucking guy with a hat, and he might as well have a Marx Brothers mask, nose, glasses, and mustache on, carrying a piano by. It's hilarious. It was probably one of my favorite parts. Not favorite parts of the movie. Yeah, maybe. All right, enough of that. And so then the second trailer is probably going to be the one that's talked about the most, mainly because it has Snoop Dogg as the narrator, and the title of the fictional film is "Don't Go in That House, Bitch." Don't go in that house, bitch. And they show, I think, 4 scenes. It's essentially a punchline. And I think the first one was probably my favorite. But after basically kill scenes, don't go in that house, bitch. Don't go in that house, bitch. Don't go in that house, bitch. But it's Snoop Dogg narrating it. And yeah, it kind of felt like a Key and Peele skit a little bit. I mean, it was funny the first time around. It's not something I'm quick to view again. Or yeah, it was all right. It's kind of a tired trope, but I have a good feeling that that's probably going to be the most talked about thing from this film, and I'm considering it part of the film because it's not a real trailer. It's essentially an extension of the movie itself. So, yeah, I want to separate that part from talking about the actual movie, quote unquote. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about Jimmy and Stiggs. You know when a movie's not going to be the scariest movie of the year? When, it's made by certain production companies, and they have the review script pop up on the trailer saying, scariest movie of the year, scariest movie of the decade. No, that's horseshit. They're lying to you. They're getting teenage asses in seats, right? This movie didn't tell lies. Yeah, I mean, no one claimed that it was the scariest movie of the year. Far from it. But the reviews that they flashed up during the trailer were pretty damn spot on. There was one I think said cocaine fueled insane. I don't know, but they were probably some of the more accurate depiction. Whether or not they actually come from a publication or not, I don't know. But And the comparisons movies like Dead Alive, Evil Dead, one or two others. I mean, obvious stuff, but like, no, they were spot on. Um, this movie was, it was wild. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever done acid, but I've never played laser tag on acid. Let's put it that way. That's what it reminded me of for about half the film. It had a real like Hellbilly Deluxe 1998 or whenever the hell that came out, Rob Zombie album video vibe to it in a good way. I'm not hating on that. I know a lot of people like to bash Rob Zombie, but he had some shit films, no doubt, but like he had some really good ones as well. But like the aesthetic of them, the color, again, I mentioned Giallo, like with the trailers. It would be like Neo Giallo. I don't think that's a real thing, but pretty apt description. The color schemes and stuff. But yeah, I'm thinking like trip some acid, go play some laser tag, and believe in what the fuck you're doing. And that gives you a good like head start on this movie. You meet one of the titular characters, Jimmy, right off the bat. He's arguing with his girlfriend. I'm not gonna do a whole like recap of the movie, but yeah, he's arguing with a girlfriend that we never see. I didn't say it. She did. Has big juicy tits and great, but I mean that's her words, not mine. Anyhow, he's supposed to meet her, and an event occurs. Put it that way, and he loses track of time, wakes up, and yeah, you find out bits and pieces of the fact that like him and Stiggs were like lifelong friends, or you knew they were friends, and they were also partners. You never really get a complete like answer on like what kind of films they made. At first, it kind of gives you a vibe that they were like maybe porn directors, but then there's a like satanic summer prop box that pops up. So maybe like B horror. I don't know. Anyways, but you do get that like him and Stiggs, his like, you know, lifelong best friend, something happened. There's a riff and they haven't talked in like a year. And he's in like, you know, a bad spot, or Bud Jimmy here, who also looks a lot like Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, which isn't a bad thing. Great band. R.I.P. Dimebag. He looks a lot like him. And he's getting shit faced when we meet him. So it's kind of weird the way the movie does it. Again, an event happens. You don't see him get abducted, but lights start flashing and there's like loud noises and the building shaking. He thinks it's an earthquake the first two times, but then like he finds himself like levitating essentially, and then he finds himself on his own bed. He never leaves the apartment. Now that's part of the thing about this movie too. Like if you don't know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but the guy who directed it started doing it during COVID, and apparently the entirety of this movie is filmed in his apartment. I don't know if you can call it micro budget because it took him 4 years, and you could tell like there was some money spent probably later on. But anyways, so yeah, Jimbo, you do get a shot where he's like on the bed and it's like 3:13, and then he looks over at the clock and it's 4:44 or something like that. So he loses track of time. He wakes up. He's got a throbbing headache. His jaw's hurting like he's got an implant in his tooth. And that's when it starts getting like, I'm not going to say weird because this movie kind of starts off at about a 9. Mainly because of him. He's full fucking speed. But that's one thing I cannot discredit the credits from the trailer or whatever you want to call them, the opinions, it's guns blazing all the way through, almost to an exhausting extent, because I think it does like damage. It numbs you a little bit, maybe. Like it, you get complacent with just insanity. I mean, yeah, again, Dead Alive, movies like that, Evil Dead 2, similar, but this one, I think a lot of it had to do with the almost claustrophobic nature of it, and also the colors. And there's no doubt, and I don't know if this is an insult or not, but it damn sure looks like every prop in this movie was purchased at Spencer's Gifts in 1997. Again, for better or worse. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that's just my opinion. But yeah, it's full blast. You never really get a lot of explanation. In fact, I think that's probably on purpose most of the movie. Then, eventually you have the inevitable appearance of Stiggs. He shows back up and they bicker, like, go back and forth. Why the hell are you here? Kind of do all that. And then there's like some mistrust between the two of them. They don't know if the other one maybe isn't really who they say they are. Like they're an alien. They beat the shit out of each other. And then there's one point in the movie, and it really pissed me off just because I hate old Greg. It's not funny. It never was funny. Honestly, it creeps me the fuck out, right? I don't like that character. I don't get it. I don't like Kids in the Hall. I don't like most British humor like that. But Stiggs ends up looking kind of like old Greg, and I hated it. I really hated it. But here's the thing that happened. So we'll move on from that, right? But Gonzo just goes buck wild from there. A hell of a lot of neon orange, pink paint was purchased for this, probably majority of the budget, and black lights. I don't hate it. I hated the ending though, and I won't tell you about that. I know I always say I'm not going to withhold spoilers, but I won't tell you because I don't really know what the hell happened, to be real with you. I've only watched it once. Again, I bought it. I'll probably go back and watch it again, but I'm not going to come revise this video. But it was kind of out of left field. I mean, the whole movie is kind of out of left field, but it wasn't satisfying, not because it was grim or it was too happy or none of that. It kind of felt, if it weren't for the colors and the Kodiak 16 millimeter filming and all that, it felt like I watched the end into a different movie. And I'll leave that at that because I can bitch about it, but I don't even really know what I'm bitching about. But it was pretty good, dude. Check it out. If you like weird shit like that, I think I gave you enough. But as far as it's fun, if you smoke weed, probably would advise you to do so before you watch this film. But yeah, pretty sure you're probably going to hear more about the trailers than this movie. But I've been an Eli Roth fan, not a big Hostel fan. I don't like gore porn. I've said that before, but I get why he would endorse this film. Let's put it that way. Anyhow, guys, I appreciate you watching. Again, I'm Dustin. This is Hard Movie Rewind. We'll see you next time.